Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the Clean Bowl podcast, soon to be the biggest cricket podcast in the world. It's all about the love of the game, and we've got lots to talk about. And joining me on another episode is, of course, Kieran. Kieran, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm all good, and you, Sab?
Yeah, very good. Your audio is not cleaner today, so
yeah. After listening to that last podcast, I felt like I had to do something about it. Wanted to make sure I was audible.
We can hear you, and that's what we want. Kieran, let's get into it. So we're going to start really with the World T20. Obviously, that's the best place and only place to start. First episode we did together. Well, first episode of the podcast was a preview to the tournament. We're probably about 9-10 days in now. What are your overall thoughts of the tournament before we get into anything?
Again, I think it's just showing how much cricket's developed all around the world. The fact that the game's become a lot more level. There's no your best teams in the world are struggling against your minnows. Your minnows are taking down the big teams. There's a lot closer games. The scores aren't ridiculous. There haven't been massive margins of victory, bar a few games. So yeah, I think it's just showing how much world cricket is becoming world cricket, and it's no longer two different games. It's becoming one world game, which is what we want to see.
But don't worry, we'll get into Australia being rubbish as we go on. So what we'll do we'll go through each group and just have a quick review of how things have gone in each group, and then also we'll look to the Super 8 stage. So Group A, India are the only team that's actually qualified. Look, we've done a lot of content on the India-Pakistan game. So look, as much as I would love to spend an hour chatting to you about India dismantling Pakistan again, I'm not going to do that. That's happened, as funny as it is. But yeah, they've qualified. I think there wasn't really shock there. Here's something really weird, right? So they've qualified for the Super 8. So they finished the top of their group, and they won every game. Yeah. Their Super 8 group are all the other teams who've also finished top of their group. It's like, surely I've always thought you finish top of a group that grants you some kind of advantage where you play the teams that finish second. But in India's Super 8 group is South Africa, West Indies, I think Zimbabwe. Okay, I know Zimbabwe finished second, but that's a pretty hard group. Like, you wouldn't want to be in that group.
It's going to be tough. Yeah. So again, it's going to be one of those where it's going to be tough to get out of that group and make it into that next stage of the tournament.
Yeah, that's a bit annoying.
We don't mind that. We don't need India in another end of the tournament.
No, it definitely feels like it's been put that way, and everybody else feels the same as well. They looked a bit shaky against the USA, as we said in our first episode. Better against Namibia, and then I think they went up another level too. It was just a pretty clinical performance. But I mean, we'll get to Pakistan, but India did what they needed to, but they put in a very clinical performance. So I think that's a good sign. They haven't peaked too early, but they're just hitting the strides at the right time. So I would be, but you never know. You never know in this format of the game because there's some dangerous teams in that. But yeah, so far so good for India. Group B, really interesting group. This, you and I predicted Australia and Zimbabwe to go through. You predicted Australia and Ireland to go through. We both predicted Sri Lanka, the co-hosts, to not even make it out. So we were incredibly wrong there. Sri Lanka have not only secured their Super 8 status, they've actually won every game as well. I mean, they thrashed Australia yesterday in a brilliant performance, chasing 180. Not even with the bat, actually, because Australia were 100 after like 7 overs.
Oh, yeah, they were smoking it. They were so in control, odds. And they lost it along the way.
Well, they finished on 182, and they looked like they were going to go well over 200. And Sri Lanka just chased it with no real problem.
They were 2 down and eased home.
And Nissanka with a brilliant century, which is not easy to do in T20. But yeah, Sri Lanka looking good. They're in their conditions. They know what they're doing. So
cruise through.
Cruise control. And the big story from this group, Zimbabwe are through. They finished second. They beat, who did they beat in the first game? Oman, I would imagine.
Oman, yeah.
Okay, so Zimbabwe beat Oman in their first game, and then they sensationally beat Australia. It wasn't like a close game. It was just a thoroughly comprehensive, brilliant performance. It was a routine clinical win from Zimbabwe. they're through.
I think it might have been a bit of nerves from Oz in that one because obviously of the history they've had in the 2007 World Cup where they knew they slipped up against them before. So it might be those old demons coming to haunt them a little bit.
Zimbabwe 2 for 2 now against Australia in T20 World Cup, which is crazy, which is wild. It's been a long time since Zimbabwe had a strong team, and it's nice to see them kind of making their way back after a long time in the wilderness. I mean, let's talk about it. The funny bit of this Australia, and you just said so. At the point of recording, Zimbabwe's game against Ireland has been rained off, which means that the tiniest microscopic chance that Australia had, which was Ireland beating them, cannot happen. Which is even funnier because not even a ball will be bowled, so there was never a chance for Australia. They are now out. They are on the way home. Wow. That's big.
I hope someone's gone to go pick them up from the hotel and make sure they're out and that they've paid any late fees for being in the hotel rooms a little bit too late after checkout time.
Well, Steve Smith was drafted in because they had an injury. He's probably still on the flight over. They're probably crossing the lane.
Yeah, he might as well stay in that layover wherever he is and just go straight back home.
He may as well. That's the most. Yeah, somebody said it was one of the most useless flights ever, which it really is. So, I think they have one more game as well against Oman, which is even funnier. Sri Lanka yesterday. 10 overs onwards, they were brilliant for the first 7, 8 overs. Completely collapsed, and they were. They've not taken any wickets. They only took 2 wickets against Zimbabwe as well. So that tells me that the clearest bowling attack is not good enough to take wickets in this part of the world in this tournament.
And that's maybe why they brought Steve Smith in, hoping he's going to add some wickets into the.
That's really top order batsman. Really helped with that. I think that's good for the tournament. It's good for the tournament. It does mean that there won't be any repeats of the 2023 final. Travis Head can't break my heart again.
That's unfortunate.
That is unfortunate. Although I was hoping that we played them again to get revenge, but never mind.
Yeah.
The next World Cup, Group C. This has finished exactly as we predicted. West Indies has been brilliant. 3 wins out of 3, including a very strong win against England. Again, they know how to play to T20. Say what you want about their test situation, the 50-over situation. All their big guns come and play in the T20. They have more franchise players. They have more players playing in franchise cricket than any other country. So they know how to win the T20. So it's actually not a huge shock that they are top of this group. What we made of England, I would say they've been unspectacular, but they've made it through.
I think they're very lucky to come out that group with 6 points. Like that game against Italy yesterday, watching it, you're almost hoping Italy get over the line. Because Italy deserved to with the way they played that game, the way they've come into the tournament and just taken it by storm. And again, like the fact that you're in that group, there shouldn't even be questions about whether you make it through or not. Yet, for whatever reason, there's been a lot of media attention on England because, again, they haven't come to the fore. Their cricket has been all over the place. It's been destructive. It's been reckless. It's been eye-catching, it's been eye-wrenching, and at times you want to celebrate, and then at times you just have no idea what's actually going on. And it seems like that's what the environment is like in that camp at the moment. You don't know whether you're coming or going. You don't know where the stability is coming from, or if it ever is going to be there. And again, with media noise around England, it's always going to add that pressure onto a world tournament like this.
They're obviously pretty comprehensively lost to the West Indies, which tells me when they face a bigger or better team, they're going to be in trouble. Teams who've got some experience and now playing in these conditions are going to do England over. So, especially with us spinning, they can't handle any kind of spin in a white ball game. But even their wins against Nepal, Nepal should have won that game. It was 4 or 5 runs. Nepal should have won. England were lucky in that game. Even against Scotland, I think they were in trouble when they were bowling England. And when they were batting, they were 2 down quite early. And Scotland were going quite well until they hit a bit of a wall and then they collapsed. And again, against Italy, England were 100 for 5, dug it out at the end. And Italy were going well in chasing 200. It was just, probably just a little bit too much to do for a new team playing playing in this tournament. So I've not been impressed
I
by
think
England.
Menenti played that one shot too many. Like he dominated the over, and again with a little bit more experience of a big tournament, you're probably going, okay, got a big had a big over. Let's just get out. Let's get a single, or let's face a dot ball, and then we'll try and add the intensity on the next over again. Whereas he went with that one big shot, and he then got caught that next ball, and then that kind of destroyed that flow that they had. And then they recovered it a bit again. But again, when you're a smaller nation coming into a big tournament, you need to handle those big moments a lot better than what they did. But you can't handle those big moments better than what they did because they don't have the experience, or they might not have the big match mentality just yet. But I think they'll develop it very quickly with being as passionate as they are about the game.
Yeah, the passion's there. That can't be faulted. The fact was they were showing an interview. I think it was at the Moscow Brothers. They had an interview before the game. It was really nice to hear them talk about. They've had a little bit of stick in terms of like people having a go at them because I've seen a lot of them aren't Italian, so to speak. But they were talking about no. Well, look, a lot of the guys live in Italy. We're very Italian culture is very ingrained in what we do. But they were very passionate about playing cricket for Italy, and also the fact that when they're coming against a team like England, who are a professional cricket team, and this is what they do. A lot of the Italian guys, a lot of the Nepalese guys, and other associate nations. They're semi-professional basically. They've got jobs and lives, and they're probably here on annual leave from work to play in this tournament.
Some of them haven't even told their bosses. Some of them are like getting seen on TV and going, "Oh no, didn't think about that."
So. But yeah, like that's one of those things, and I think England have actually, even though they've got through, they've probably done more harm to the reputation actually in the way that they've handled this. But I tell you one thing that does annoy me again. It's talking about India finishing top of the group and facing all the hard teams. England, they've been shit the whole time, and they're playing. Okay, I'm not trying to disrespect the teams, but they get to play the other second place teams in the competition. They get to play New Zealand, Sri Lanka, who they've already beaten in a 2020 series just recently. And I can't remember who the other team they'll get to play is. Oh, I guess it would be Pakistan or USA. Is it
not a good thing because they could underestimate that opposition and end up making it an easier road for the likes of an India at the end of the tournament?
Yeah, I guess it works both ways. I mean, there are arguments on both sides. Mine would be you've not done well enough to finish top. So you shouldn't be rewarded for your failure to finish top. It sort of feels like if you're in England and you've got, right, I'm giving you a choice of two groups. One group has got South Africa, West Indies, or who've already beaten you, and India, who are the defending champions and at home. Or do you want to play New Zealand, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan? I think I know which group I'm picking. That's the
one with South Africa and that, eh?
So that just doesn't make any sense to me. But again, nothing I can do about that. But yeah, that was a weird one.
I don't think a lot of the stuff that world cricket does make sense at times.
That's true.
I think it's very haphazard. I think it's all over the place. But I think it also brings discussions about cricket, which is, I think, maybe what they want. I think at times ICC bring narratives around the game that are going to build the stature of the game without even focusing on the cricket.
Well, yeah, and I think there's that as well, and also the big issue at the game at the minute is obviously the money is sort of orientating what any decision is made. So I also think that what you've said is true, but also an India factor are a lot behind most decisions. What are India doing? So they don't want to wait until the semi-final stage to see India take on a big team. Let's do it now because we get big revenue figures, big TV views. So India playing South Africa on Sunday, for example. So we're getting in straight into it. I think they probably hoped that Australia would be in this group, so you would have had an India-Australia match. You'll have an India-West Indies game. So you're going to have three big matches now, and they're going to be played in the next week. That's going to be big revenue in terms of tickets and TV figures, which is what they want, And then you get the semi-finals, so that's then three more big games. So I think that's part of it.
They're going to struggle once those revenues aren't there because India aren't in it.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the big risk. If we get beaten, which could easily happen against South Africa or West Indies, and we're not in the semi-final, What do they do? Just cancel the tournament? Probably. That's what I would do.
Yeah, we've had enough now. It's been a good one. We'll catch up next time.
We're only counting into the group stage, and so yeah, null and void. We play again next year.
Yeah.
And the final group, South Africa, serenely through. They've beaten Canada, New Zealand, a tense one against Afghanistan, but a win nonetheless. And they are through. They are through to the next stage. And New Zealand, they've won this morning, so they're now through as well, which means Afghanistan, their slender hopes were extinguished. So yeah, South Africa, I think they are probably they've looked. I think they've looked the best team in the tournament actually so far, apart from that game against Afghanistan. But yeah, no one better to talk about them than you. South Africa, what are your thoughts so far?
Again, that Afghanistan game was one of those where I'm like, oh, this is South Africa. Got to make a tight game somewhere. Got to raise people's heart rate somewhere along the line in the tournament. I think the fact that they found a way to win in all their group games has been positive. I think the way they dominated the last game was really positive. It's almost showing people that, yeah, we've had that little hiccup, but we mean business. We're not here to mess around, which is what I would have liked to have seen from England when they had that slip up or when they came close. It was dominating that game yesterday. So I think that's where South Africa are showing a different ability to them that they've had before. Where they've slipped up before, it's kind of kept that narrative going somewhere along. Whereas this World Cup, they've showed that grittiness, that fight, that ability to find a way to win. It just depends whether they can take it all the way to the end of the tournament or not. If you look at the bowling lineup, like with the powerhouse bowling lineup that we have, they haven't bowled that well yet. Again, we've won games. So even though we haven't bowled well, which is one of our strengths, we haven't won games. We've won games by pulling a performance out with the bat, having performances all the way through the lineup with the bat, having a guy like Ryan Rickleton, who wasn't even meant to be at this World Cup, coming in and showing people as to how much he actually means business. I think that's that steeliness, and I think guys like that are going to probably pull South Africa through the tournament because they will want to win. They'll want to prove a point. They'll want to put South Africa on the map and be a part of that picture.
Probably other than India, I think South Africa have the best opening partnership at this tournament, Markham and Quinton de Kock. It's a pretty frightening opening duo actually. The way that both of them can hit the ball,
but also the way they complement one another. Like you've got Quinton, who's just destructive, and then you've got Aiden Markram, who's probably one of the classiest batters around in world cricket at the moment. Like the other day, some of the cover drives that he played, some of the lofted straight drives that he played were proper textbook. Like you couldn't get it more textbook than how he played it. And then you've got Quinton who will whip one off his legs and it will travel over a pavilion roof. It's ridiculous. Yeah, like if you look at the bowling lineup for the quality that South Africa have got, they've travelled at 10s, they've travelled at 8+, like in T20 cricket or in this World Cup in particular, which isn't like KG's not known to be travelling at 10s. He might travel between 7 and 8, but I've never known him to travel at 10 and over. Lungi, as well as he's done, obviously taking wickets, he's also travelled for loads of runs. So that's where there's that reward system. Okay, we don't mind some of our bowlers going for like loads of runs as long as they're making massive indents into the game in terms of impact.
So again, just the last early on South Africa, Kieran. So yeah, we've talked about the strengths. You, like India, are in that sort of strong group now in the Super 8s. What is it, do you think, that will potentially stop South Africa from winning this? What are the, I don't want to say weaknesses, but what is it that potentially could stop South Africa from winning this?
Seeing this tournament, I haven't seen those frailties. I think the only thing that might hold us back a bit is if our bowling attack have a bad day, we're chasing a big score, and your Markram and your Quinton doesn't come off. Ryan Rickleton has a bad start. Your middle order doesn't fly, and then you're relying on the bowlers like we have done in previous World Cups. I think that could be the only frailty at the moment. Like I said, I haven't seen too much this World Cup yet. But yeah, hopefully there's not time for those frailties to show up.
All right. Well, yeah. Look, Super Eight. We will preview that later down the line. But some tasty games coming up. Not less India, South Africa, which neither of us are going to talk about yet, but we
No,
will
we won't talk
eventually.
about now.
We're going to play a little game now called Three For. So what this is basically a little game that we've come up with, where what we're going to do is we're going to predict the fate of all the remaining teams in the tournament, but we can only use 3 words or less. So we're going to kind of do this for the Super 8s, we'll do this for future tournaments as well. So just a little bit of fun to do. So 3 words or less to tell us what you think is going to be happening in this. So I'll name a team, and then Kieran, you give me your prediction in 3 words or less, and I'll do the same. So we'll start with England. What have we got?
So I said strong but vulnerable.
Strong but vulnerable. That's nice. I've gone for batting collapse somewhere because it's England, right? They're going to collapse somewhere. They love a batting collapse. Okay, next up we've got Sri Lanka. What have you got?
Co-host battling challenges.
Co-host battling challenges. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. I've gone for semi-final surprise. Now, I myself don't really know what I mean by this. I think it could be anything. It could be that they make the semi-finals. That could be a surprise. They could be in the semi-finals and spring a surprise and reach the final. I just think they're a bit of a surprise package now, and I don't think everybody really knows what to make of them. All right, so New Zealand next.
So New Zealand, I have said competitive yet strained. So I feel like they're there and thereabouts, but I feel like they're almost riding on the previous history. Like they're not showing up. They're not being that typical New Zealand, like the underdogs, but you know that they're going to win and they're going to be present.
Yeah.
They felt like they're just hanging on at the moment. They feel like they're not here yet. They haven't arrived at this tournament yet.
I've gone for nobody mentions them. I think that in a kind of like what you've said, like they're under the radar and they're always under the radar. Like I think sometimes I watch a tournament and then they'll read out the semi-finalists and New Zealand being there. Like when did they get there? How did they're just they're just there.
What do you mean they're playing still? I thought they'd gone home.
I thought they weren't even in this one. But okay, Pakistan is next.
So I went unbeaten early challenges.
Unbeaten early challenges. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
What have you gone with there?
I've gone with face India again.
Okay.
I think
where do you think they're going to face?
That is a very good. Well, we'll have to be. They won't be in this. It won't be in the same group. So if they face each other, they will either be in the semi-final or the final. Okay, Zimbabwe.
Historic breakthrough moment.
Oh, I like that. I think they kind of had it, but I'd like them to have another one. Super 8 surprise.
Okay, yeah.
So again,
I like
Super 8 surprise. I think similar to yours. I think they will have another breakthrough moment. I'm going to predict that they beat the West Indies. Yeah, I mean, this next one's funny, but we'll do it anyway. Australia.
So when I obviously put this before knowing what happened, I put struggling with absences.
I've just put first flight home, which they will be on now. So.
Well, at least they won't be struggling with absences anymore because they'll be on a flight home, and those absences can be chilled back at home, not worried about a World Cup.
Exactly, they can watch the rest like the rest of us. So
yeah,
okay, West Indies.
So I said Super 8 qualifiers because I feel like that's where they are at the moment. They're Super 8 qualifiers. I don't know how much ability they have to win this tournament.
Okay. I've got super over exit. I just think
super over exit.
I just think whenever they exit the tournament, it'll be through a super over. Maybe against Zimbabwe.
I like that.
Yeah. We need a bit. We need some.
That
drama.
Would be good to watch.
Hearts need to be broken. I know that sounds cruel, but it has to happen. Someone has to get their heart broken. Super over exit. Okay. South Africa.
South Africa, I have put consistent major contenders.
Okay, you're not going to like what I've put.
Oh, here we go.
I've just put it happens again.
Great.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
India.
I'll let you go with that one first, and then
I've put defend their crown.
I just put dominant home favourites because that's what they do. They dominate at home.
Well, I mean, in my head, I'm trying to think. So we won't do too much of a preview for the semis and the final. In my head, I'm thinking who is going to make it to the semis, and I do wonder if we're going to get a repeat of last time, South Africa and India again.
India,
I think the two strongest teams in the tournament, but again, the Super 8s are a bit of a leveler for everybody, even not South Africa and India, I think, because you just never know. You face a good team on any given day in a 2020. Yeah. It could just happen. Thank you very much, Kieran, for joining me on this episode. I think we'll have much more to talk about going forward in the tournament.
Yeah, definitely, and especially without panning out.
Yeah, the next time you see us, either we'll be together or we'll be on an episode with some of our friends from Cricket Wickets previewing these Super 8s and the semi-finals and the finals. But let's see what else, are there more twists and turns in the competition? Who's going to be eliminated by the next time we speak? Obviously, we'll keep doing daily updates from here and there, but thank you very much for listening, for watching. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video and give us a subscribe or a follow on Spotify. But otherwise, I've been Sab, this has been Kieran, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, everyone.